Recap: Alchemy Emperor of the Divine Dao, Chapter 8 and 71, Chapter Wars. Listen closely, for the winds of fate were quietly stirring within the Ding clan, though few within its walls yet realized it. Far away from the clan grounds, Ling Han observed everything through the mysterious totem that linked his awareness to the unfolding events. Watching the scene play out, a faint smile curved across his lips. His eyes gleamed with a playful spark as he murmured softly to himself. Well then, if the waters are already stirring, why not make them even livelier? With a thought, he transmitted several subtle commands through the totem. A trace of amusement lingered in his expression. He chuckled quietly under his breath. Hey, if Sea Girl were here and saw me stirring up trouble like this, she would probably scold me again. She would say that an emperor like me is neglecting his proper duties. Ling Han raised his gaze toward the vast sky above. Yet the amusement in his eyes slowly softened, replaced by a quiet longing. His thoughts drifted far beyond the present moment. His family, his parents, his son, the women who stood beside him through countless trials. Where were they now? Were they safe? Were they thinking of him as he thought of them? For a brief moment, the great emperor stood silently beneath the heavens, his heart filled with yearning. But the moment soon passed. Back in the Ding clan residence, events were already moving rapidly. Ding Feiwen, still burning with humiliation from the earlier encounter, had rushed straight to the clan's upper echelons to lodge a furious complaint. In his retelling of events, the story was twisted beyond recognition. According to his words, Ding Ping had behaved in a despicable and shameless manner. He claimed Ding Ping had secretly used dirty tricks and underhanded schemes to injure him. With righteous indignation, he demanded that the clan elders uphold the clan's laws and punish Ding Ping severely. Naturally, these accusations immediately stirred the anger of the clan elites. Within their eyes, Ding Ping had already fallen from grace long ago. Though his title as the young master had not yet been formally removed, he was merely a fading shadow of his former self. Yet now, he had supposedly dared to disregard clan rules and harm another member? This was intolerable. One elder slammed his palm against the table and barked furiously. Bring Ding Ping here immediately. Yes! Meanwhile, Ding Ping had only just returned to his modest room. He had taken a quick bath and changed into a clean set of clothes. In truth, that was the only other set of clothing he still possessed. He had barely finished tidying himself and had not even had the chance to sit down when the summons arrived. Ding Ping did not need to guess the reason. Ding Feiwen must have run to the elders and complained. Yet despite knowing this, Ding Ping's heart remained calm. He had acted openly and honestly. His conscience was clear. Without hesitation, he followed the messenger. They walked through winding corridors and courtyards of the clan residence until they finally arrived at the most solemn place within the Ding clan, the conference hall. This was where the clan discussed its most important matters. Rewards were granted here. Punishments were also decided here. Today, the atmosphere inside the hall was heavy and oppressive. Standing before the assembled elders and the patriarch, Ding Ping bowed respectfully. Greetings, patriarch and elders. His voice was steady. His posture was upright. After offering his greeting, he stood silently with both hands resting calmly at his sides. An elder looked down at him coldly. Ding Ping, the elder asked sternly, do you recognize the error of your actions? Ding Ping lifted his head. He shook it firmly. No. Insolence. Another elder suddenly exploded with anger. You injured Ding Feiwen through underhanded means, and you still refuse to reflect upon your actions? Ding Ping met the elder's gaze directly. Reporting to 7th Elder, he said calmly, I used no tricks. I defeated him openly and fairly. If the elders doubt my words, then let Ding Feiwen fight me again. His words immediately caused several elders to frown deeply. Nonsense. One elder shook his head decisively. How could Ding Ping possibly defeat Ding Feiwen? In their eyes, this claim was nothing more than blatant deception. Ding Ping might possess some brute strength, but at most, he could challenge opponents at the 5th or 6th layer of the body refining tier. Ding Feiwen, however, was already at the 9th layer. The difference between them was enormous. Thus, they simply assumed Ding Ping was lying to cover up his misconduct. The patriarch of the Ding clan slowly spoke, his voice carrying final authority. There is no need to discuss this further. He paused briefly before announcing coldly, "From this day forward, Ding Ping's status as the first heir of the Ding clan is abolished." In truth, this decision had already been considered half a year ago. However, the elders had hesitated. Ding Ping's parents and grandparents had all sacrificed their lives for the sake of the clan. Because of this, the elders had delayed the final decision. But today's incident had pushed matters beyond the limit of their patience. Now, they would hesitate no longer. Ding Ping had long anticipated this outcome. When the words were spoken, his expression did not change. Yet deep inside, anger and grievance surged through his chest. The clan had not investigated the truth. They had listened only to Ding Feiwen's one-sided accusations. Such injustice burned within him. "I am dissatisfied," he shouted. The seventh elder sneered. "Dissatisfied? This is not something you are qualified to decide." He looked at Ding Ping with cold disdain. "Do you still think you are worthy of being the clan's first heir?" Ding Ping clenched his fists. "That is not what I am dissatisfied about," he replied firmly. "I am dissatisfied because you elders should not judge the matter based solely on Ding Feiwen's words." The fourth elder burst into loud laughter. "You expect us to believe that you defeated Feiwen through your own strength?" To him, the claim was simply ridiculous. "Why shouldn't you believe it?" Ding Ping shot back fiercely. The fire of youth burned brightly within him. "Let him come! I will fight him again." Insolence. The fourth elder slammed the table. "Enough! Step down immediately." Then he barked an order. "Guards, give Ding Ping 300 strikes of the staff as punishment, so that others may take warning." Ding Ping raised his head proudly. "I am dissatisfied! I am dissatisfied! I am dissatisfied!" His voice rang throughout the hall. At that moment, he wished more than anything that he possessed overwhelming strength. Strength great enough to suppress everyone here and force them to hear the truth. The third elder snorted coldly. "This is the clan's decision. Who are you to object?" He waved his hand impatiently. "Take him away." Just as the guards stepped forward, "Report!" A man suddenly rushed into the hall in panic. The third elder frowned. "Why are you so flustered? Do you not see we are holding a clan meeting?" The servant hurriedly bowed. Reporting to the patriarch and elders, "Yes, Lord City Master has arrived." The moment those words were spoken, "Shua! Shua! Shua!" The patriarch and all the elders jumped to their feet in shock. The City Master. This was a figure of immense power and authority, someone far beyond their reach. Even the strongest expert within the Ding clan was merely at the spiritual ocean tier. But the City Master? He was a flower blossom tier expert. Such a figure was practically divine in their eyes. "Quick! Go welcome him!" The patriarch no longer dared remain seated. He hurried out with the elders in tow. As they stepped outside the clan residence, they saw a tall figure standing at the entrance. The man appeared to be around 40 years old, yet his presence was overwhelming. An invisible aura radiated from him like blazing sunlight. Under that pressure, the members of the Ding clan almost felt blinded by his brilliance. To them, the flower blossom tier was like a realm of gods. Experts at this level could fly through the skies, burrow through the earth, and live for nearly 300 years. Compared to them, the Ding clan was insignificant. How could such a mighty figure personally visit their humble residence? Without hesitation, the patriarch and elders knelt respectfully. "Greetings, Lord City Master." The man before them was Liu Zhenshi. After receiving Ling Han's message through the totem, he had rushed here immediately, so quickly that he had not even brought a single attendant. He laughed warmly and raised his hands to help them stand. "There is no need for such formality," he said with a smile. "I heard the Ding clan has a great celebration today, so I came personally to offer my congratulations." The words stunned everyone present. Great celebration? What celebration? None of them had any idea what he was talking about. Seeing their confusion, Liu Zhenshi asked with a curious smile, "Could it be that you still do not know? A genius of your esteemed clan has been accepted as a disciple by a great figure." What? The entire Ding clan was shaken. If even the city master referred to someone as a great figure, how powerful must that person be? Spiritual infant tier? Suddenly, realization dawned upon them. Wasn't Ding Feiwen recently accepted into the Crimson Sun sect? This brat! He had clearly been taken as a disciple by a powerful spiritual infant tier master. Yet he had only modestly said he joined the Crimson Sun sect. How humble. At times like this, he should have proudly announced it. The members of the Ding clan were overjoyed. Even the city master had come personally to congratulate them. The Ding clan was about to rise in status. The patriarch immediately ordered, "Quick! Go summon Fei Wen!" Before long, Ding Fei Wen arrived. However, the earlier punch from Ding Ping had left a dark bruise around his eye, making him look rather pitiful. When Liu Zhenxi saw this, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. A disciple chosen by that mysterious lord? How could he look like this? Still, since the Ding clan had confidently presented him, Liu Zhenxi assumed there was no mistake. He stepped forward with a warm smile. "Young Master Ding, congratulations. Being accepted as a disciple by that lord is truly remarkable. I hope you will take care of me in the future." Ding Feiwen stood there in complete confusion. The clan elders were flattering him excessively. Even the noble city master had lowered his status to greet him. What exactly was happening? Yes, he had joined the Crimson Sun sect, but he had never been accepted as a disciple by any great master. Could it be that fate had suddenly taken an unexpected turn? Translator, Henyi Translations. Editor, Henyi Translations. Inside the grand hall of the Ding clan, the atmosphere was bustling with celebration. One by one, the influential elders and important figures of the clan stepped forward to offer their congratulations. Even the Lord City Master himself had come personally, standing among them with composed dignity. Under such a dazzling spotlight of honor and recognition, Ding Feiwen felt his chest swell with pride until he nearly forgot his own name. In his mind, there could be only one explanation. Surely this must be because a powerful figure of the Crimson Sun sect had taken notice of his talent and accepted him as a disciple. The official announcement had yet to arrive, but in Ding Feiwen's imagination, the matter was already certain. Heh, that must be the reason, he thought smugly. Then his thoughts darkened as he remembered the humiliation from earlier. That damned Ding Ping actually dared to strike me with his fist. Ding Feiwen's eyes turned cold. This time, I will make him pay for it dearly. "Lord City Master, please come this way," the patriarch of the Ding clan said hurriedly, bowing with respectful urgency. Clearly, the courtyard was no place for serious conversation. "Please, please." The group respectfully ushered their distinguished guest toward the main hall. Once inside, they arranged themselves according to rank, with hosts and guests taking their proper seats. Yet even though Liu Zhenxi had been offered the seat of highest honor, the Ding clan members still felt uneasy. His status towered far above theirs, and they feared that even the smallest mistake in etiquette might be interpreted as disrespect towards such a noble guest. At that moment, Ding Feiwen stepped forward with a smug smile. His eyes slid toward Ding Ping with thinly veiled hostility. "Lord Patriarch, respected elders," he said with a faint sneer. "How do you intend to deal with this person?" The patriarch of the Ding clan cleared his throat before answering. "We have already reached a decision. Ding Ping will be stripped of his position as the first heir of the clan. In addition, he will receive 300 heavy strikes of the staff as punishment." Though the patriarch felt slightly displeased by Ding Feiwen's increasingly arrogant tone, he suppressed his irritation. After all, even the Lord City Master had personally come to show respect. If Ding Feiwen truly possessed the backing of a powerful figure from the Crimson Sun sect, who among them could afford to offend him? Ding Feiwen's expression twisted into an even more arrogant smile. "Only that?" he said, sounding almost disappointed. His sense of superiority had grown to an outrageous degree. Even the Lord City Master behaved as though he would obey any request from him. So why should he continue to treat the Ding clan's elders with reverence? After all, I am already a true disciple of the Crimson Sun sect. In Ding Feiwen's mind, this status meant that his arrogance and tyranny were perfectly justified. The patriarch's expression darkened slightly. "And according to you, Feiwen, how should he be punished?" he asked in a restrained voice. Though he felt displeased, he dared not openly show it. If he offended Ding Feiwen and Liu Zhenxi chose to intervene, the consequences would be disastrous. The Lord City Master was a flower blossom tier elite, someone powerful enough to overturn the entire Ding clan if he wished. Ding Feiwen's eyes gleamed with cruelty. "Cripple both his arms?" he declared coldly. His voice echoed sharply within the hall. "He dared to strike me. If I do not break his arms, how can my anger be satisfied?" Before anyone could respond, a servant rushed into the hall. "Report!" The servant knelt quickly and spoke in a loud voice. "The patriarch of the Yi clan seeks an audience." The Yi clan? At the mention of that name, Ding Feiwen's eyes lit up. "Yuan Yuan has come?" he said with delight, unable to hide his grin. "Let them enter." His heart swelled with pride. Perfect timing. With Ye Yuan witnessing everything, she would clearly see how extraordinary he had become. And with her watching from the side, the humiliation Ding Ping would suffer would be even greater. However, the servant did not move. Instead, he instinctively turned to look toward the patriarch of the Ding clan. Seeing this, the patriarch's expression turned even darker. Who was truly in charge of the Ding clan? Even if Ding Feiwen might become a powerful elite in the future, that was only speculation. Right now, authority still belonged to the patriarch. Humph! With a cold snort, he finally said, "Invite them in." Soon after, the servant returned with 3 visitors. 2 men and a woman entered the hall. The 2 men were none other than the patriarch of the Ye clan and the clan's first elder. The young woman walking beside them was naturally Ye Yuan. "Yuan Yuan, you've come!" Ding Feiwen greeted enthusiastically. He behaved as though he himself were the patriarch of the Ding clan, stepping forward with confident authority. "Come, allow me to introduce you. This is the city master, Lord Liu." "City master?" The 3 members of the Yi clan froze in shock. The city master was an incredibly prestigious figure, someone whose status towered far above ordinary clans. Yet from the way Ding Feiwen spoke, it seemed as though he could stand on equal footing with the Lord City Master himself. That was simply astonishing. "Brother Feiwen," Ye Yuan asked quietly, her voice filled with curiosity, "why has Lord City Master come here?" Ding Feiwen's chest puffed up even further. "I have been accepted as a true disciple by a great figure from the Crimson Sun sect," he explained proudly. "Because of this, even Lord City Master personally came to congratulate me." As he spoke, he leaned slightly closer to Ye Yuan and lowered his voice, pretending to reveal a mysterious secret. The Yi clan had already heard rumors that the Lord City Master had arrived, which was why both the patriarch and first elder had come personally to investigate the situation. Even so, Ye Yuan was still deeply astonished. "In that case," she said with a smile, "I must congratulate you, Brother Feiwen." Earlier, when she had witnessed Ding Ping striking Ding Feiwen with a punch, she had briefly wondered if the matter might somehow involve him, but now that thought seemed ridiculous. After all, Ding Ping possessed a crippled spirit base. His future achievements were already destined to be limited. Thinking about it now, the idea seemed laughable. Ding Feiwen basked in her admiration. Turning his gaze coldly toward Ding Ping, he waved his hand dismissively. "Take him away immediately," he ordered. "Break his arms." He spoke as though he himself were the clan patriarch, but before the command could be carried out, yet another servant rushed in. "Report!" The hall had become unusually lively today. The servant knelt on the ground, trembling as he spoke. "Informing patriarch, the sect master of the Crimson Sun sect has arrived." His voice quivered with shock. The sect master of the Crimson Sun sect. That was in existence hundreds of times more powerful than even the Lord City Master. The Ding clan elites exchanged bewildered glances. Even if Ding Feiwen had been accepted as a disciple by a spiritual infant-tier expert of the Crimson Sun sect, there should be no reason for the sect master himself to personally visit. Something about this situation felt extremely strange. Only Lu Jianxi seemed to understand. So Lord Jie has heard the news as well, he thought to himself. That great lord had taken in a disciple. In such circumstances, even if far more powerful figures came personally, it would not be surprising. However, Lu Jianxi felt a trace of confusion. Ding Feiwen's talent was decent at best, and his temperament was far from impressive. Why would such a great lord choose him as a disciple? Ling Han had clearly told him to come to the Ding clan to offer congratulations. Could it be that the Ding clan had misunderstood something? Meanwhile, the Ding clan members hurried outside to welcome the arriving guest. The sect master of the Crimson Sun sect was named Jie Wu. His reputation had long spread across the region. Among all the experts here, he stood at the absolute pinnacle. Whenever people mentioned his name, reverence naturally filled their hearts. "Greetings, Lord Ji." Everyone knelt respectfully to pay their respects. Jie Wu raised both hands with a gentle smile and asked calmly, Who is the disciple of that Lord? His words immediately left the Ding clan members bewildered. Almost simultaneously, they asked, "What Lord?" Up until this moment, they had believed that Ding Feiwen had been accepted as a disciple by some great expert from the Crimson Sun sect. That assumption explained why Liu Jianxi had personally come to congratulate them. But now that the sect master himself had arrived, and had even used the respectful title "That Lord," the situation suddenly felt completely different. That Lord. The phrase echoed in their minds like thunder. Even the sect master of the Crimson Sun sect addressed that person as Lord. What kind of terrifying figure could command such respect? The members of the Ding clan began to tremble. Things were becoming increasingly strange. This situation no longer resembled what they had imagined. At that moment, Ding Ping suddenly spoke. "May I ask, is that Lord's surname Ling?" Silence! The seventh elder immediately shouted in anger. "What right do you have to speak here? Can't you see we are discussing important matters?" Yet both Jie Wu and Liu Jianxi raised their brows simultaneously. They turned to look directly at Ding Ping. Then they nodded. "Correct," they answered. The entire hall froze. Everyone present was intelligent enough to realize something. A terrifying guess began forming in their minds. "My master's surname is Ling," Ding Ping continued calmly, "and his given name is Han." Now he was completely certain these two powerful figures had not come for the Ding clan. They had come for him. Or more accurately, they had come for Ling Han. The moment those words left his mouth, Jie Wu and Liu Jianxi immediately bent down onto one knee. Their expressions were filled with utmost respect. "Greetings, young master." Shock exploded through the hall. Every member of the Ding clan felt a chill race up their spines. The Lord City Master, the sect master of the Crimson Sun sect. These two individuals were like gods in their eyes, existences powerful enough to support the heavens themselves. Yet now, these two terrifying figures were kneeling before Ding Ping, and they were addressing him as young master. Heavens above. What kind of unbelievable fortune had descended upon Ding Ping for him to become the disciple of such an unfathomable lord? Meanwhile, with a dull thud, Ding Feiwen collapsed onto the ground. His face had turned ashen. All the pride, arrogance, and smug confidence he had displayed moments earlier vanished completely. Only despair remained.